Hello everyone, so we are going to react and offer our criticism of the Kenobi trailer. Certainly it's been quite a controversy online and Twitter, especially with those Disney fans who cannot separate the critique of the content and take it personal, even though we're not attacking anyone for their tastes. Everyone is free to like whatever they like. We are simply giving a critique for the content because we believe details actually matter. And Star Wars fans only criticize the content. Their remarks are limited to the actual content. Star Wars fans are not trying to get their political views inside the content. We are simply trying to get a consistent story, consistent visuals, where it's the Star Wars that George Lucas sold to Disney for $4 billion. And we simply believe that Disney has not done a good job of that. They can just change things on a whim. Shows a lack of respect, and we're going to react to this and show you what we mean. And there are a few things, of course not all of them are deal breakers, but George Lucas was meticulous in controlling the overall view of the franchise. He was very deliberate in the design of the warriors, the characters, the spaceships, the planets. George Lucas did not do any of this lackadaisically. He was very deliberate, and let's see what we can find here and lower the volume a little bit. So the first thing that I can say here is, we stop right there. I don't know what has happened to natural lighting. If you notice there, a wee bit hazy. We've seen Tatooine before. Here, we've seen Tatooine before. Try to compare this. This set just looks awful. This is the volume. This is probably the volume. And the lighting is so controlled, but we've seen Tatooine before in the original trilogy. So you can actually feel the difference when you have the hot Tunisian sun glaring on real sand in the desert. Now, that seems to have been lost now. Look at this. These creamy visuals. This is the only exterior shot, and it's not much better. You can tell it's a back lot somewhere in Los Angeles, and it's such a controlled environment. It looks like a set. It doesn't look like a real Tatooine town. George Lucas designed the towns in Tatooine actually in Tunisia under the hot Tunisian sun. This looks like a set, like a backlot in Los Angeles, somewhere in Hollywood, and it just doesn't look real. It takes you out of the escapism. It takes you out of the story when you see this, and it's the same set from the Book of Boba Fett, but just the lighting itself. That's one pet peeve that I have. Too perfect the lighting. But you see that, and that's a studio. That's probably the stagecraft of the volume, and it's just not natural lighting. You don't feel Tatooine as it was presented in the prequel trilogy when Anakin went to rescue his mother, or in the original trilogy. Just try to imagine the hot Tunisian sun glaring off of C-3PO's shiny armor, the outer shell, and R2 for that matter. And you don't have that here. It's too creamy, too controlled, too tame. I'm not at all with this shot. I just wish it was real sunlight. Look at this again. That's perfect lighting. It would have to be in the UK. It would have to be an overcast sky to give that kind of shade. And for that shot before that, with Luke, I like this whole sequence. I love the viewfinder from his from Obi-Wan's binoculars. Very reminiscent of the original trilogy. I like this overall look. It's a nice sequence. Luke Skywalker's body language here. First of all, why isn't he blonde as he was in the original trilogy? People's hair tends to darken as they grow older, not get lighter. at least not before grey hairs. So that's something that seems odd. And the body language here of Luke, it just seems a little bit overacted. Much better if he was pointing at the stars with a toy spaceship, but this just seems odd, and the body language seems exaggerated from the director here. So a little bit of like I said, these are all pet peeves. Don't have to get visceral about it. Don't have to lose your mind over these observations. After all, we are giving a critique to a major faceless corporation that doesn't care about you. It's just profit. So it's alright if we criticize it. Don't take it personal. So that's one thing. This is awesome. This is fantastic. Seeing you in again. Now this, right here, I think the whole fandom can be united with this moment. That chorus, we hear this chorus. Everyone, we probably all lost our collective minds when we heard this, and that's alright. That shows that there are things that unify the fandom, which should be something that Disney takes to heart. They should take it to heart when they see that there are elements that fans unitedly like, and certainly the lore, what makes up Star Wars, the motifs, the iconography, the established visual sounds of Star Wars will collectively elicit positive reaction from fans. Yes, this was an epic moment. Now this is very nice. This is consistent, very much in line with the look of what we've seen since the inception of the Inquisitors, the Inquisitoriums, the aspects, the looks. When you are consistent, the fans will react positively, and this is something that no fan will complain about. At least the ones that are okay with Rebels. There are some purists out there, respect to them. I myself am okay with the Rebels timeline, and but some consider all that, even the Clone Wars apocryphal timelines, and would rather go 100% purist with the EU. I love the EU. I myself would adapt it to include the storylines and characters from the Clone Wars and Rebels, but if you don't feel that way, I completely respect that, and would not be morally opposed if that were to happen, which it won't. But anyway, this Inquisitor shuttle and Inquisitorium, very much in line with what we've seen. Consistency and details matter in regards to Star Wars. You have a fandom that appreciates, at least the existing fans appreciate details and consistency. Disney fans, not so much. They seem to simply like Star Wars no matter how it comes, or it doesn't. So I really want to stress this. This is not gatekeeping, because we're not keeping anybody out. We're simply concerned that the law remain consistent. We're not saying to anyone, you're not welcome here, you're not Star Wars fans and you shouldn't like it. You should leave it to us who have been here the longest. It's not what we're saying. What we're saying is that the legend has a look already that's been established. Consistency is something that should happen, should be important. Now, this is where it hits the proverbial fan. The Inquisitor, the Grand Inquisitor here. The Grand Inquisitor is a character that we've seen before, from a species that we've seen before. Now, some fans are saying that the species will have different looks, just like human beings have different looks, and that's true. However, there are enough references of the species for us to understand that there are commonalities with it. It's not a new species. We've seen them before. They're called the Powans, and we've seen them in Revenge of the Sith. The species has a very specific look, an extended cranium. There's not a single instance in which this species has been brought to life by Star Wars, Lucasfilm, where they don't have these aspects in common. So this is a very lackluster interpretation. In every sci-fi film or Star Wars and other franchises, you used to have featurettes where you would show the audience just how painstaking it was to bring characters to life, to be as faithful to either previous iterations or to bring back to life characters that were described in other media, books and video games. And this is simply a swimming cap with with lines on its head. This is very disappointing. This is not a faithful interpretation of. This is not a faithful look to what we already know of this species. So let's continue. The argument that because every species has a variety of looks and not everyone's going to be looking the same, it's not a good excuse, it's not a good argument here, because the species has a very distinct anatomy and it's not respected here. This is simply a humanoid, a human head that's bald, plaster on it. You know, the lines on the head, fine, but it's not enough. Doesn't have yellow eyes, does not have any texture on the face, on the actual skin of the face. It's not a faithful look. You know, it's like they're really mailing it in here. And thing is that you have a fandom that appreciates details in Star Wars fans, at least existing fans. You have a fandom where if you go the extra mile, they will appreciate it. This is a nice little sequence. Again, you see the lighting here. I mean, try to remember Tatooine, Qui-Gon Jinn facing Darth Maul, or meeting Anakin for the first time. Qui-Gon is sweating in Tatooine. Tell me if any of these people in the desert, in the hot glaring sun, are even close to sweating. This is such a controlled environment. And if you're going to use Tatooine, use a real desert man. Use temperature where people are sweating, where people are muggy. This is such a controlled environment. It's just not real. It's not believable. It takes you out of the story. Now this looks fantastic. This scene right here looks phenomenal. You can see the fifth brother there. There's another Inquisitor there that I'm not familiar with. You have this main Inquisitor character, which I've not seen in any of the media before. I'm only disappointed that it's just simply a human female, instead of maybe adding some sort of face paint or eye coloring, eye contacts, to just give her this, another species or sinister look. But it's not a deal breaker. This scene's fine. Yeah, look at it now. Seems like a good character, but bear with me here. Let me see if I can hatch it. Bear with me here. Yeah, imagine if she had contact lenses, colored ones, and maybe some sort of, facial paint here, like being some sort of species. That would be really cool. My opinion, it would enhance the character. But if they just wanted to go like a human, just a black female human with no tattoo in the face or anything else, it's fine. I just think it could be better. And I just hope that Obi-Wan Kenobi does not become a secondary character in his own series, based on the prominence of this character here. Shuttle again. No problems here. Okay, officer, Imperial officer. Okay, this looks fine. Visually, fine. Obi-Wan. This looks really nice. The griminess, the metal, the worn out armor, older tech. This looks fine. Very nice visuals here. Yes, this is something that it's very disappointing. Spinning blade is fine because we've seen it. We've seen it in the Rebels. We've seen that before, so that's fine. It's not everyone loves it, but it's part of the lore now, and I can't complain about that. Our concern mainly is consistency in the story, consistency in the look, the visual aspects of Star Wars, of existing lore. And this scene would be fine if simply the Grand Inquisitor was more akin to the species we've seen in Star Wars already. Elongated cranium and yellow contacts. Very, very simple. Jason Isaacs, I would have personally cast him as the role, as he was phenomenal in the Rebels' interpretation of the Grand Inquisitor. But I'm open to seeing this interpretation, this live action interpretation, open to seeing it. Of course. And it could be wonderful and completely open to that possibility. But the look is important. In Star Wars, the look, the aspect, consistency in the lore is something that fans appreciate greatly. This is a fantasy, this is a mythology that George Lucas crafted, and that's the reason why it sold for $4 billion, because George Lucas was so meticulous about it. He was so diligent in making sure that everything had the right look that he crafted, that he wanted. That attention to detail is what made the franchise so valuable, and that attention to detail is what Disney has simply ignored, has simply done away with. Disney fans just really don't care about these things. They don't. But we do. Can't fathom is how these fans make it a point to get personally offended on behalf of this corporation that only cares about their money. We welcome fans, new Disney fans. We wish they could join, and that they thought consistency and the lore was as important to them as it is to us. We wish we had a united fandom, but for some reason they seem bent on defending a faceless for-profit corporation that doesn't care about them. It doesn't, and they defend it when we're not attacking them. We want Disney to be consistent. It's not like we hate Disney for the sake of it. It's not like we hate all of their content. There are things they've done right, like Rogue One, like Rebels, Mando. The things that they've done right. When they do it, we give them praise, but not always when they've not been consistent. Think of Rogue One, how much attention to detail he gave to his interpretation of Vader when he brought Vader back to the screen. He was very deliberate of not violating the law, being consistent with what Darth Vader had already done, and the fans loved him for it. And when he fusioned that with old footage of the original trilogy, the little nod to existing fans while bringing a new story, the fans loved him for it. In fact, I don't understand why he's not doing more Star Wars content right now. It's quite confusing. So if Disney had just taken the moment to do this right, just a little bit of an elongated cranium more and contact lenses, this will not even be an issue. And the story could be wonderful. Nobody is saying that the story is ruined, but it's a missed opportunity. Right here, the fifth brother. How tall does this guy look? Maybe 5'11"? Look at the fifth brother in Rebels. Consistency, mate. It's all we want, consistency. It takes very little, but accomplishes so much because fans appreciate that. The Coruscant here looks phenomenal. The setting looks wonderful. I'm so happy to be out of Tatooine. But the fifth brother here is another missed opportunity. It simply is. This looks great. This looks wonderful. Let's go back to that. So those escape pods. Escape pods, nice. Now this is probably a Jedi about to be killed. I really wish that when this Jedi does get killed, he's not just vanquished easily, because Inquisitors are not as deadly as Darth Vader. It should be said that, if you know about the lore. Inquisitors were Jedi themselves, were either Padawans or Jedi turned to the dark side. They are not Sith. So a Jedi should be able to hold his own or her own with an Inquisitor. So I hope that, the fact that there was apparently a Jedi that was hung by the Inquisitors is because of his mercy, of his, for the sake of people around him, he gave himself up, and that's why. So I really hope we need to see the Jedi. Jedi are so important. They are part of Star Wars. We miss them. We want to see the Jedi. Think of the Visions, Star Wars Visions. Some of the most popular episodes were because, Japanese anime makers probably are not aware of all the things and issues and political stuff going on in the Western world. So they were only concerned about Star Wars. They're probably isolated from the political things that are going on in the West, and they simply are trapped in time. And they were, the Jedi are phenomenal. They are part of Star Wars. They are Star Wars, and we need to see the Jedi and bring them to the fore. And that's why the stories and Visions, at least the ones that were the most popular, really highlighted the Jedi, and that was very important, and that is why those stories were so popular. So I hope the Jedi are brought back to the fore eventually, even in storylines that are after the Mando timeline. So here that's what, don't mind if Jedi gets killed, but hope it's a dignified and glorious death, that where he holds his own, and we see the Jedi do hold their own against the Inquisitors, akin to Jedi Fallen Order. You see the Jedi symbol? So here, that's another pet peeve. I mean, Obi-Wan using a blaster, as Obi-Wan would say, and it's quite uncivilized, but anyway, there must be. I mean, I'm willing to see the plot and the arc to see what brings this about. Why Obi-Wan is using a blaster here, multiple scenes. This looks wonderful, just visually. It's wonderful. Obi-Wan. So that's it. That is all I can say about the Kenobi trailer. Everyone's excited. There are some concerns. Just because we critique parts or aspects of it does not mean we're not excited about it. But at the same time, we will not just consume what Disney does when they're not respecting existing aspects, existing lore, existing mythology. So it's a very confusing thing for us. We're trying not to enter into conflict with new Disney fans, which for some reason just will consume whatever Disney presents, however they do so. So if there's someone that I want to blame here, really it's Disney, Lucasfilm. Because think of this, if Disney Star Wars fans will take whatever, that means that if Disney had been consistent with the existing law, with characters, with visuals, with everything, existing fans would have liked it. They would have loved it, they would have consumed it, and that's new fans, and existing fans would have completely appreciated and just would have taken it as a nod to existing fans that we're thinking about you, we appreciate you, and let's get all the new fans on board with us, and let's all together enjoy Star Wars. So it's very easy for people to sometimes criticize existing fans for wanting Star Wars to respect existing aspects of the law, and I don't know why, because people all over the world right now, in the Western world at least, they're always criticizing content, wanting it to reflect their values, their politics, their social issues, and they get quite mad when that doesn't happen, where even there's protests and all these different things. We're not asking for that. We're not asking for politics, for our views, our personal views to be inserted into Star Wars. We're simply asking for, or we're not saying that, new fans should, bug off and look for other IPs. We welcome them. We want them to join us. We want to be together with them. Our concern, our issue is not with any fans. Our issue is with the content, with the stories and the visuals, the aspects, the lore, the mythology that was created by George Lucas, and that he sold, and that he always made sure was consistent with what he created. That's it. So if Disney did that, think of this. Disney fans would like it because they consume everything that they are given, but existing fans also would be happy, so we would have a united fandom. That's what I have to say about the Kenobi trailer. We are excited. We will give it a chance, of course, and we just hope. Please make sure to check out my video as to the suggestions that I had. This video was made months ago, probably a year ago, and but that list, I had it from the moment years ago when they teased at the idea that Kenobi was going to be brought back to life in a series. These are the suggestions that I made all the way back then. I made the video way after I made the list, but I hope you enjoyed. Check it out, and please check it out and subscribe to the channel. It really helps out, and I'll see you out there. And just remember, when we criticize content, it's just the content. We're not attacking fans, we're just criticizing the content. Alright? Have a good one. Take care. Via Kindews, and we'll see you on the next one.
This is Star Wars themed.